Well, welcome to Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. We are live again this Sunday evening at 7 p.m. And I'm Tony Renfro, your host. I just was asked the other day, and I was just asked by my guest, is that how long have I been doing this? And I said, well, about since COVID. That's about 3, 4 years now. And it's been a 3 year of education, learning and being educated, listening to good stories, good testimonial. It's just been a great time. But now this is Power Podcast. We've been around for 3 years, 3.5 years, and it has been going great. So let me tell you a little bit about Knowledge is Power Podcast. It is a platform share important information about educating the Southeast Texas African American communities with valuable information on health, education, financial, and political and business. So drop us a comment if you like what you're listening to or hearing from our audience, and we want to hear from you. Now, this is Power Podcast. Also is now on, again, we're on Facebook, but we're on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. We're formerly Twitter with X, formerly Twitter, and Apple iTunes, and it's something else, LinkedIn. So join us every Sunday at 7 p.m. We're live with our guest here tonight is a motivational speaker, love doctor, and author of the book Love Made Simple,
Yeah.
Mr. Juan Lee. Hello, Juan.
Hey, how you doing? I appreciate you for having me tonight.
Tell us a little. Well, tell me, not just tell the audience, but tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're from Virginia, right?
What dog? That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's been some years that I've been from Virginia, but I was born in Virginia, moved to Maryland when I was about 9 years old, and have made that a home for the rest of my life, other than the time I was gone for the military. I left to go to the military, came back to Maryland. So uh,
Right.
yeah, so all but 9 years of my life been in Maryland, but yeah, it started in Virginia.
And how long you've been a book writer?
Well, hey, we're talking about the first and only one right now. I mean,
Oh, this is your
uh,
first book. Okay.
yeah, it's interesting. It was published in the middle of the pandemic. Um,
Really?
yeah, I started writing it though, probably 5 years before the pandemic, probably in 15. I was like thinking about, whoa, how about writing a book? Is this possible? I mean, if you know my story, it's like me and writing a book was probably the furthest thing from my mind at any point in time in my life, is to think that I was going to write a book. Um, but doing that, about around about 15, I just started writing, had a lot of notes that I had been writing and writing and writing and writing. And it's amazing. You go back and pull all those notes together, and voila, you know, you have a book now. Once you know how to put it together, um, and if you don't, you find the people who do, and so you end up having your book written.
Right. I've never written a book before, but I know it could be my book would be too long to read.
You know, um, I think it's if you have the right people, and that's the thing about writing a book. I mean, what I've come to find out. I mean, granted, it was a tedious process. It was a learning process. Um, but the biggest thing is just being able to find the people to assist, to get the right people to assist you, and you'll be surprised. You got all the editors, you got the people that edit your book, you got the people that are going to format your book. So everything comes together with people that are experts in doing what they do. And so what you might think was going to be a huge long book, once
Mhm.
they put it together for you and make it all, make sense and everything. In some cases it's longer than what you think it is, and in many cases, some cases it's not as long as you think it is. So anybody who wants to write a book, um, I think we all have a story, and so just be able to find the right people to help you write that story, or to tell that story, whatever that might be, um, is the key.
Well, Now we're going to talk about today. Warren Lee is our guest, and he's been he's a, like I said earlier, a love doctor, but love made it so difficult that it's confusing. He's removed some confusion by making it very simple, and that's the name of his book is Love Made Simple. So today we're going to talk about some of the topics. We're going to discuss some of the topics that's going to be about love, Christianity, humanity, self-help, family, social issues, and also being an Air Force veteran. That's who Warren is, and I'll let Warren take over.
Yeah. uh, well, I tell you, the book came out of a, I guess, a little bit of a combination of my story, and my Christian faith.
Hmm.
Um, but it also came out in wanting to help people navigate life more successfully. Because there's no structure, no guides for life, you
Hmm.
know, and so we find ourselves struggling to try to navigate or try to figure it out. And the one thing that I've learned is that there's nothing new. This thing called life is not new. It's just that we're new to it. And so as a result, we feel that we have to figure it out.
Hmm.
And what I've come to realize is that, you know, the answers to this experience, to this journey, it is love. It's the ability to be able to know what it's all about and have the right motivation to be able to implement it as you go through this journey called life, so that you can navigate it more successfully, so that you can reach your full potential, so that you can, you know, gain all of the things that are in it that are for you. And so that was my purpose, was to write a book that could help people navigate life more successfully.
Now, why is love is important to humanity?
Because it's the tool that connects us.
Hmm.
Love is the thing that, I don't care where you are in this world, you are able to be able to understand that we have something in common, and humanity is what we have in common, no matter
Hmm.
what part of the world you're in. And love is that thing that connects us. It allows us to understand, I don't care where you are in the world, you know how to not be selfish when it comes to something that you love. Something that you love, if it's there's no selfishness in it. If a parent is loving on their children, ain't no selfishness in it. I don't care if you're in this Middle East, you're in Asia, you're in America, you're in Africa. There's no suffer. There's no selfishness in love when it comes to being able to demonstrate it to your children.
Right. How do you? I know love it keeps a family together, and I was raised in a family that with nothing but love. So how can you expand that to other families? What you would how would you explain or counsel another family on about showing love in the homes?
But see, that's the whole thing. Is I think the fact is that many of us, we don't have the value that we have to. We don't understand the value of the family. And once we fail to realize the value of it, it's kind of difficult for us to demonstrate it to one another. But the value sets the foundation. The family sets the foundation for this journey that we're all on. And it's as we're able to support one another in their abilities, each and every one of us, as we begin to develop ourselves in this safe place. See, a family should be a safe place for you to be able to expand, take chances, go out and explore things, but know that if and when you fail, there's that support that's there to tell you to continue, to keep on, to get up off the mat so that you can continue, to always be that encouragement that's necessary, so that you don't look at it as failure out there on your own, or that you've missed something that you should have done better. but always there to encourage you to say, okay, get up, shake yourself off, and get back on the horse. That's that demonstration that the family has that is nowhere else. You can't get it anywhere else.
Every one of my guests is Juan Lee. And let me little bit to tell everyone a little bit about you. Juan Lee is an author and a teacher on powerful principles of love. For over 30 years, he has studied organized religion to find the elements that unite humanity and share the message with those who needs it. And he was raised in a Christian church. Warren has turned to teaching about love over the years, so to find strength, understanding, and hope. And so now I'm going to ask another question: why most religions feel restricted when it comes to the message of love, and how to separate the message from the praxis?
Well, here, that's the $100 million question, is because I think that has been left for many, is the source of the confusion. And so as a result, we get caught up into religion and not the message.
Mm-hmm.
See, we all have our differences as it relates to how we get there, but
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing is that we get there. And so
Mm-hmm.
if we understand that love is the key, that's the element, that's the thing that connects us all together. How we get there is not as much the issue as it is that we get there. So
Mm-hmm.
then we should be wanting to reach across and touch and pull and be inclusive instead of exclusive.
So how do you use love as a foundation of your life and understand you are never alone? Sometimes you feel like you want to be loved, but you feel like you're alone. You know that feeling I'm talking about?
Mhm.
And you're a part of humanity.
Well, see, I mean that's really goes back to the very essence of, first of all, we get into this thing about self-love, and we have to understand that self-love is really something about really developing yourself. When we're able to develop ourselves, we begin to get the confidence that we have in ourselves so that we can share that confidence with others. And so what we have is that we have to have that constant awareness that we have to be wanting to develop ourselves. We've got to be able to want to understand who we are and why we are, because again, the things that we're after is fulfillment. And the only way that we can gain that fulfillment is to have something to offer, because fulfillment comes from the ability to give that to someone else that gives you that fulfillment. It's that ability to say, I'm sharing who I am with you for the sake of giving you what you need so that you can be continue on your journey. But that brings me fulfillment as to assist you in your journey.
Well, I understand that too as well. So, but let me hear something else. How do you use love in our life, in my life, in your life? How do we use love?
Well, and that really goes back to having the love type of an attitude. See, attitude determines your outcome. And everything that we have an attitude that stems from a perspective that allows us to be able to be successful. See, we don't know what we don't know, but when we have the right attitude and the desire to want to be selfless instead of selfish, then we begin to now realize that we're in this thing together so that we can begin to put the right attitudes towards being successful, not only for ourselves, but for those that are around us. So there are attitudes of love that we need to implement and really begin to put the mindset of love into play in our daily walk, in the things that we demonstrate every day, how we interact with one another, how we talk and walk. We've got to make that a part of our daily operation.
So you're saying speaking love continuously, that speaks out of your mouth, that's what you receive. uh, I know to love. What is love? Sometimes a lot of folks don't know what love is all about. What is love?
Well, see, and this is the thing is that we need to be able to identify it, okay? And when we identify it, we can then begin to demonstrate it, okay? And see, love is selfless. Love is the ability to act on behalf of another for the betterment and benefit of them. So it's the ability, in many cases, it's the ability to be able to be so confident in who you are that you can sacrifice what it is that you need to sacrifice for the purpose and benefit of someone else. That's what it means to be able to demonstrate love, to act on behalf of another.
Now,
And that's to be able to identify it also, because we get really skewed up in things where people say they love you, but they can't demonstrate that they love you.
right. So how can you accept love that way?
Well, but see, but that's just it. We've got to really put a proper definition to it. See, because someone that can say they love you and can't demonstrate it. See, because love is an action word. You've got to be able to demonstrate it. And if it's something selfish, that doesn't benefit anybody but yourself. You just working, you loving yourself, or pretending to love yourself. But love is the ability to gain fulfillment when it comes to you and what you're able to give.
Yeah,
And so we've got to recognize, first of all, that what people say ain't necessarily love.
right.
You get what I'm saying?
I,
It
I,
ain't
I,
just
yeah,
because they saying it, don't mean that it is.
I know that. So, but love is you have to demonstrate love
And,
unselfishly.
and then the thing about it is that's the whole point. If it's any selfishness in it, it ain't love.
Okay. So what is it then if you don't if it's just
It's
not
it's
yourself?
it's it's this perspective. I mean, in the first chapter of my book, I talk about the fact that we have been made so confused by what, because we think it's an emotion. We think it now. It's not to say that it's not, but we think that it's only an emotion, a feeling. No,
Hmm.
it's an action. It's a word that needs to be demonstrated. And when you're able to demonstrate it, it's not just what you do, it's who you are. It's in you. It's not just something that you turn on and turn off. We have to be it. And that means that we have to demonstrate it because it's who we are. It's like it's like your name and my name. I'm gonna be, every time you say my name, I gotta stand up and be who I am.
Right. I say, but see, life throws us some curveballs. And in other words, they throw us many obstacles. And it's so overwhelming that you can't love. I mean, how do you make yourself get the love when you in that emotionally in
Here,
that feelings, in those
here,
vibes on it?
here's I'm going to share with you some of the attitudes of love, and what we have to do is to now incorporate these attitudes into our life. Okay, and the first one is that it's a sacrifice. We've got to be willing to know ourselves enough to be willing to sacrifice on behalf of another. So, in other words, when someone's acting that's not in a way in which is beneficial that you think towards you, you got to begin that you got to be able to allow them to be who they are.
Hmm.
But in other case, I'm not going to press them into being something that they're not, but it's not going to impact me. And if it means that I might have to give a little so that we can get along, then it's okay, because that's what we need to do to get down the road. We've got to be able to see what we don't have is tolerance. We're not able to be tolerant with other people. Until we're able to be tolerant, we're not going to be able to have any space to be able to get along. And so I've got to accept you for who you are, with the same with and then you accept me for who I am, and then we can at least come to the table and begin to communicate. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we are. We're here together with the ability to try to communicate with one another so that we can get along. We're in this thing together. I don't care where you are. I don't care who you are. I'm in this thing and you're in this thing, and we're here for this time and space for the purpose for us to at least for us to get along. We have to get along because we are representing something that's bigger than ourselves, and that's humanity. That's who we are. You're a part of humanity. I'm a part of humanity. We have to get along so that we can better humanity.
Love Made Simple is the book by the author and motivational speaker JUAN Lee. And we've been here for the last 20 minutes talking about love, LOVE. How do we share love? How do we emphasize, or how we use love as a practice, as a daily practice, as a demonstration? And it's amazing how I always say this. I believe in love because God is love and love is God, and He speak of love how many times in the Bible?
I don't know. I have no.
Yes, that's love. He speak of love more than anything in the Bible,
Well,
and He is love. And,
yeah.
and the way and we walk by love. We walk by faith, but we walk by love. That's love and faith. Having faith is love, and being with and I just say that I say that purposely is because I have a heart of gold. I have a heart of love for anyone or anybody, and I demonstrate it. As a matter of fact, I demonstrate it too much, But it's just something about me that God blessed me with that type of feeling and love for anyone. But I'm going to ask the question by growth and self reflection. The mindset practice puts you on a path of hope. Okay, well, put me on a path of hope, put me on a path of love. I just want to be able to share that love with anyone. Everyone do not have the spirit of love. How do you handle that?
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, because our spirits are it collides with the spirit of the devil and the love in our heart. The spirit com, is a conflict. We're fighting off the flesh.
yeah.
We're fighting the spirit is fighting the flesh at times. How do you conquer that?
Well, see, here's the point. We've got to realize that we're in a space and time that we have to understand that we have a purpose. And when we don't have purpose, see, if we don't know where the journey is going to take us, it's very easy to get off course. And someone can knock you off course and challenge you when you don't know where you're headed,
That's right.
when you don't know where your purpose is. See, a lot of times we get challenged in areas where we're unprepared for because we don't know where we're headed. And then we want to say that it's the devil made me do it. No, let's be clear. We out here trying to figure it out. When I spoke to it early on, I told you, I said, there's nothing new out here. There's nothing new. It's just we're new to it. And so when it comes our way, we're unprepared for it. So then we get knocked off course. So what I'm suggesting is that we be prepared for it so that we get the attitudes in place. What we want to do is get ready for the challenges and
Hmm.
not allow the challenges to beat us to the point or to the punch where we end up we fall to the prey, and then we wonder how we fail. See, we've got to prepare for the journey. Every trip we go on, we get ready for it. See, this is what life is all about. We have every day to prepare for the next one, and that just means to learn something new today because tomorrow is not going to be the same. We need to go through every day gaining more knowledge, more insight, more abilities than we had yesterday, because today was different than yesterday, and tomorrow is going to be more challenging than today.
Yes.
We've got to know that going into it.
Hmm.
See, we can't be allowing ourselves to get caught off guard thinking that it's going to be just the same as it was yesterday. That ain't how it works. And so we've got to be prepared, just like our enemy is prepared. We've got to be prepared. Are we? That's the question. And that's what love is here to tell us, is to say, if here's the attitude: sacrifice, be humble, be disciplined, have care for others, have tenacity, be responsible, have these characteristics already in place, because the time and the challenges are coming where you're going to need them. And when they come, will you have what it takes to navigate it?
Uh, I had to go back and my not my notes, but I had to go back and remember this, that but I was talking about love, and I would say God is love, love is God. How many times that God spoke the word of love, dropped the word of love in the Bible? It was 310 times in the King James Version, and
Mhm.
801 times in the New Living Translation. So that's a quite a bit of that. Love is life.
Yeah, it gives us the tools necessary to navigate. And I'm saying these attitudes of love is what it is that we're after. We need to be able to demonstrate that love, and we demonstrate it through those attitudes.
Hmm. But just for a little bit, the word love is discovered 131 times in the Old Testament, 179 times in the New Testament in the King James Version. But how many times did Jesus say love in the Bible? 361 times. So love is part of life. And if we've got to know how to let yourself go and love one another, have that joy. I pray every day, Lord, give me joy, give me peace, give me wisdom. And that is something that comes in my life. And I search for the hope that can fill with the frustration I go through at times. But instead, you live a life of purpose built on the principle that unite us all. And I saw that in your writing. It says love.
Hmm. Yeah, and see, that's the thing that we need to realize, is that we're in this thing together, and love is the thing that connects us. and
Hmm.
and it's because we are humans. We are have that ability to connect to one another. And so love is it. And how do I demonstrate it? Is that I'm looking to be able to find those connections that I can meet other people's needs. But
Hmm.
before I can do that, I've got to have something to offer. And that's why it goes back to the point that I was talking about earlier, is that we've got to understand the purpose so that we can develop ourselves, and that will give us our journey. It will give us directions on our journey. Without that direction, we're subject to be tossed to and fro by anybody who's trying to knock us and push us in a direction that they want us to go in, instead of where we are more suited to be.
That's actually right. And how does love? How can you use love in your life right now, or my life? Did I ask you
That
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 question before?
I mean,
I
it's
asked you. I'm
it's
sorry. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I think I went back and asked you that. I'm just trying to go over some things in my head about it, but I just want to say I did ask you that. But I want to say that Love Made Simple. That's your book. It's the guide to inner peace, contentment, and success.
mhm.
And I commend you on your new book, and I pray that you and wish you well on it. And I'm glad that I had you on board to talk about the expression of love, the feeling of love, the meaning of love, the demonstration of love. And if we don't have that, we don't have nothing at all.
Well, I think it's what I want to do, is I want to help people navigate life where they can be successful using a tool that is, for the most part, undertaught, in a manner in which we can demonstrate it, and we can have a more fulfilling and reach our full potential in life.
Well, thank you, Warren, for being my guest here this evening. And it's been a wonderful time spending time with you on your new book, Love Made Simple. It's a help to others who doesn't know how to receive love and those who don't know how to give love. And I hope they can pick up your book and find out how simple it is to love.
Well,
And
be clear.
right
It's not easy. It's just
now
clear.
it's
It's
clear, make
simple
it
and
clear,
clear,
it's
but it
simple and
ain't
clear.
easy.
So like I said many times in the Bible, the Bible makes it clear that God is love. That's in 1 John 4:8. He isn't just loving, but he is the very definition of love. He loves us because he created us. His affections is unconditional. We're talking about love. Juan, my man, Lee, thank you so much for visiting us on Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. And I enjoyed the visit with you. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close out?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say that you can get the book.
Yeah,
Um,
that
at,
is.
it's you can get the book on Amazon, or you can go to Audible, and it's on Audible also. If you would, and also anyone that you purchase this book by Audible or on Amazon, it supports me in my nonprofit that I have. It's called Clear Journey, which basically brings the attitudes of love, giving you the mindset to be successful in all areas of life. And that's the nonprofit is called clearjourney.org. You can go there and find out all the areas that we talk about. And we have a podcast. You can meet us on our podcast. It's called It's Life Live every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's 6 o'clock Texas time. Okay, you guys, you can meet me out there. It's clearjourney.org on YouTube at 6 o'clock Texas time. You can reach me and you can see our It's Life Live um, podcast. But yeah, pick up a book, support us. We're looking to help you navigate life more successfully.
Oh, thank you, John. Thank you, Juan. Don't go nowhere. We're going to go. See you next Sunday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time.
Thank you for watching Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. Be sure to like and subscribe to all Knowledge is Power social media pages.